Expecting the formal proceedings to start any time from now. I mean, the hall is almost full. In fact, we just heard that some people are now going to be taken to the overflow area, and we're told that the program is also fairly tight. Well, fairly tight by their standards, of course, because there's several items on the agenda. They include messages of support from the various leagues of the ANC, but also messages of support from the alliance partners, COSATU, the South African Communist Party, and SANCO, whereafter President Jacob Zuma will deliver their keynote address reflecting on progress made over the past 21 years that the ANC has been in power. Elvis?
Who are some of the people currently present there, and are some of the founders of the Freedom Charter present today?
Well, there are some people who in one way or the other have a relationship or an attachment to the Freedom Charter or to its program or to the history of this place. We spoke earlier, you saw earlier when we played Ishmael Valdi, who is now an MEC but was born and grew up in this area. Short while ago, we were going to speak to someone who was distributing pamphlets here in Kliptown back then. So it's sort of, people who have an association, but do remember that this was 60 years ago. So how many 60-year-olds, how many people who would have been more than 60 years old by now, who can be here and, running around or still being able to walk with ease and having to, do something while these people are here. So it's difficult to really get people who were here, back then. As I said, the people we've been able to get are people who have some association or the other. Elvis?
What is the mood like? It seems like very jovial from the pictures that we see coming through there. Vuyo, are you still there?
Yes, Elvis, sorry, I lost you there for a few seconds.
Now, just what is the mood like from the pictures that we see coming through in the hall there? It seems to be very jovial. What have you picked up?
Well, it's a mood of celebration. People have been singing and dancing the whole morning, really. Since when I arrived here before Morning Live went on air, there were people running around, carrying flags, carrying posters of the ANC, singing. It's really a mood of celebration. But again, the ANC has said it is as much a mood of celebration as it is a mood, a day to reflect on what has and hasn't been done, but they do underlie the fact that there is every reason to actually celebrate, because even though the situation is far from ideal, they believe that a lot has been done, and that has to be not only celebrated, but also it's something that they feel they need to keep on saying, so as to give confidence to the people of South Africa that this project, rebuilding South Africa, is indeed a work in progress, and people should appreciate that. But of course, where a lot still needs to be done, and people believe that the ANC isn't doing what it is supposed to do, they are keen to see people bring that to their attention.
Now, what are ordinary people saying? I don't know if you had a chance to speak to ordinary people that's around there. What did they say about the ideals of the Freedom Charter? Has that been achieved by our democratic government?
Well, a couple of our reporters have been here. They did spend some time here this week, among them Aldrin Sempier, who really brought the stark contrast, into life. He spoke to small business operators who were actually making a decent living, from the precinct and the facilities built around it. But he also brought into life the plight of many people who are jobless, many people who are actually very poor, and who have nowhere to turn to. So, which I suppose, is the story of so many people across the country where we have, we are one of the most unequal societies in the world, where we have so many rich people, yet we have so many poor people. You look at workers. On the back of yesterday's, the release of the Marikana report, those workers were demanding your 12.5. Yet you have CEOs, executives of mining companies, banks who are earning ridiculous amounts of money. What does a person have to do to earn the kinds of the amounts of money that the top 10 executives, the richest, or the high earners in the country are earning, compared to the pittance that so many workers are earning? So, that is the reality that the ANC has to confront. If you're saying that, if the Freedom Charter says, the minerals shall be shared among those who work it, is that a reality in South Africa today? I think a quick answer to that is a definite no. The same would apply to the issue of land, and having, such high unemployment rates in our country. Can we talk of decent work for the people? So all those realities have to be confronted, and hopefully, 60 years down the line, 60 years after the adoption of the Freedom Charter and 21 years into our democracy, President Jacob Zuma and the ANC, the rest of the leadership of the ANC, will get an opportunity to reflect soberly and really very honestly on those realities, and perhaps most importantly, chart a way forward and give the South Africans the confidence that they need in the future of this country under ANC rule.
Now, Vuyo, you went fleetingly through the agenda for today, but what is the highlight for the agenda for today at the Freedom Square there?
Well, it is that keynote address by ANC President Jacob Zuma, because really the rest, the alliance partners and the leagues, it will be merely messages of support. So the speech really to look forward to is President Jacob Zuma's speech, which one would imagine would have been done in consultation with the members, the top six and the rest of the NEC. Remember, they had a meeting only last weekend. So he is fresh from that meeting. One would imagine that as they were preparing for this particular occasion, they would have reflected at their meeting last week on what it is exactly that he needs to say today. And remember also that back in January, when he gave that keynote address in Cape Town, he did say that this is a year that the ANC would dedicate to two things. One was the radical economic transformation, and the other one was, of course, what today is about, which is the year of the Freedom Charter. Elvis?
Vuyo, thank you so much for that report, and you'll keep us updated as to what's unfolding there. That's Vuyo Mvoko, our contributing editor from the SABC, live at Kliptown at the Freedom Square. We'll take a break and we'll be right back after that.